Legacy Boxing presents the Canadian Boxing Championships from the Mattamy Athletic Center. For the Canadian Cruiserweight Championship, some notable past champions, including the man 2 seats to my right, Troy Ross, Canadian, and of course Commonwealth Cruiserweight champion. Fighting for it now, 32-year-old Sylvera Louis from Montreal.
They're going to say hungry fighter, right? But mostly my style is I have a good jab, I have good movements, and I'll have to use that to my advantage to take the win. I was influenced a lot by Rocky as a kid. My favorite boxer was Sylvester, still Rocky Balboa. But I guess I had a lot of anger I didn't know how to deal with. So without boxing, before boxing, that anger was projected at me. While with boxing, I get to project it towards a goal and I don't know, toward growth. I was gonna be a tough fight. Like he throws a lot of volume punches. Like he moves well a lot as well. But if we're gonna get to each other, we're both gonna have to decide to stand and fight. So I think that's gonna happen fairly early in the fight, and then it's gonna be a war of attrition.
He's 32 years of age, 6'4", Sylvera Louis.
Sylvera Louis, someone who's overcome a life of street crime to become a mentor and make something of his life. People always talk about how boxing has saved lives. It truly has for Sylvera Louis. And now he gets his opportunity to put something in his trophy case to become the Canadian Cruiserweight champion.
Well, he said, he started boxing at the age of 17, but then at the age of 19, between 19 and 24, he said, I forgot everything that my parents taught me. And as you say, it became a bit of a troubled life, and then he started gymnasium with his brothers, and that has been his concentration. Sylvera Louis of Montreal. And he'll be going against 27-year-old Didier Bence from Retigny, Quebec.
You're going to be an exciting fighter. Always come to fight. And I got great speed, great head movement, great defense, and they're going to see an awesome show. I put some gloves on, hit the bag, and so I saw the trainer. He's, how old are you? I said, I'm 14. Oh, you're 14 for real? And I continued to hit the bag, and he said to me, I'm gonna make you a world champion. And since that day, I never quit. My style and his style is a great match. He's a good boxer, and I'm a good boxer also, and I can fight on the inside. So I'm gonna prove this style against his style to fight inside. This fight is it's gonna be a KO. I don't know what round, but I train for KO, so it's gonna be KO for sure.
Now, Didier Bence is another one of these fighters who has turned pro very late in his career. You're talking about someone here who won a Pan Am bronze medal for Canada in Rio de Janeiro at the age of 19. So this for him is only his 12th fight.
Yes, it is, but sometimes you need to know exactly what you want to do. If you want to box, because boxing is one of those sports that you cannot be on the be half and half. When you step in the ring, you got on the other side of the ring, you got a killer. You got a person that's trained directly for you, and they are going to display that inside of the ring.
Well, I would think too, or you have to want to be there. I mean, we're talking about someone who is a two-time Canadian junior champion, a super heavyweight champion, but up until just 3 years ago, he was an amateur, and he now suddenly says, I'm a pro. I want to go. I feel I can go.
And suddenly says, I'm going to lose 35 pounds and become a cruiserweight.
This next bout is proudly brought to you by Michaels on Simcoe. Introducing the judges for this bout, Harry Davis, William Boudou, and Alan Davis. Your referee, over 25 years of experience, world class, Mr. Rocky Zolnerchik. NCC supervisor in attendance, Mr. Rob Bruno. Ladies and gentlemen, 8 rounds of boxing for the Cruiserweight NCC Canadian Championship. Introducing first in the blue corner, official weight 198.6 pounds, wearing black, trimmed with red. Professional record, 5 wins, with 2 wins coming by way of knockout in 8 outings as a professional. From Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Sylvera Sly. His opponent in the red corner, he weighed in at 199.2 pounds, wearing black, trimmed with gold. His professional record, an excellent one. 10 wins, only 1 defeat, with 3 wins coming by way of knockout. Now fighting and residing out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, ladies and gentlemen, Didier Bence.
And as it so happens, here we have 2 fighters, both members of the Canadian national team for a couple of years. They're former sparring partners, and now both of them at their comfortable weights under the 200 as cruiserweights. But I mean, you have to fight sometimes your friends.
I expect you to obey my commands at all times. Keep it clean. Trunks a little high. This will be good. Touch up. Good luck.
Rocky Zolnarchuk is our referee, but yeah, sometimes you go against the guy you maybe had dinner with the night before.
Yes, that's exactly right, Vic. But it's a fight inside of the ring. Outside of the ring, you can still be friends. But when you're going up against skills, it's all about skills versus skills. And at the end of the day, you can sit down and have a coffee.
So Didier Bence, at 27 years of age, in the black trunks with yellow trim. Sylvera Louis, black trunks, red trim. It's for the Canadian Cruiserweight Championship, slated for 8 rounds.
Bence, the naturally larger man, and most certainly is in the best shape of his life at 199 pounds, but how comfortable was it for him to get down here to cruiserweight? There aren't a lot of guys who start at heavyweight and then go down to cruiserweight to have success. So Bence is trying to buck that trend tonight.
Well, as mentioned, too, I mean, he was a Canadian amateur superweight champion. His only loss for Bence was to Eric Martel. That was in November of last year. We'll see Martel, of course, coming up, fighting for the Canadian heavyweight championship at 250. This, though, for both of them, is their comfort weight.
Yes, well, let's hopefully Bence does not come down too much and his body is drained, because it's St. Louis starts using the body, and you could start feeling the effects of it. Maybe the 30 pounds might not have been the best thing for him to do.
One thing that Bence feels his strength is his fast hands, and for a bigger man, physically, he thinks that he's pretty light.
Well, it's interesting that he thinks that, because I think most people would have presumed that Sly would be the guy with the faster hands in this one. He's thought of as the boxer, as the slickster in this matchup. But one thing we do know, both guys have heavyweight power. You mentioned that Bence fought Eric Martel, took a loss there, but Sylvera Louis fought Dylan Carmen, who's in our main event, and he knocked him out.
And he knocked him out first time, second time rematch advantage Carmen. So both have tried the heavier weight, as now Bence has Louis pinned just above us, and oh boy, Sly Louis fights his way out, and then catches him with a left.
Well, you can see that Bence is definitely has more power of both of the fighters. He's a shorter fighter, so he just needs to get in and work that body.
You're staying in front of him too long. Keep your punches up.
You can see the length of Sylvera Louis, giving Bence some trouble on the outside at range, but as soon as he gets inside, he's the one doing the work.
For Didier Bence, this is his first fight outside of Quebec. He's now moved to the Toronto, Mississauga area as he becomes part of Chris Johnson's stable of fighters at Kim Jim. Johnson, the former Canadian bronze medalist in Barcelona in 1992.
It's a good start to the fight, but what I would like to see Louis do is, because he does have much more speed, he's got the length, the reach, he needs to use it a lot more.
The bell to end this first round. As we follow Didier Bence, what'd you think of Bence in that first three?
The first round was a good round. It was both of them getting their bearings and getting familiar with the ring. It was a good round. It was a good icebreaker. And he did get a big body shot.
And just getting underneath the elbows. But I thought Louis was good to fight his way out.
Yeah, I mean, so far this fight has just been about geography. When it's on the outside, Louis is able to use his length, he's able to use his hand speed, and that jab is giving Bence trouble. But as soon as Bence gets on top of his chest, you see he can do that work on the inside, and he might have hurt Louis with that body shot.
Bence, who won that bronze medal in Rio de Janeiro at the age of 19 at the Pan Am Games. That was just 5 years after he started boxing as an amateur, the age of 14. Round 2 for the Canadian Cruiserweight Championship. Didier Bence in the black and yellow. Sylvera Louis has a slight advantage, height advantage, 3 inches, 6'4" to 6'1" in the black with red trim.
Bence with that new commitment to fitness to get down to the Cruiserweight division, but he also feels that his new team has a bigger commitment to him. He was with the Groupe Yvan Michel group in Quebec for many years and just decided he was kind of lost in the shuffle over there. But now that he's in Toronto, Chris Johnson puts his focus on Didier Bence.
That swinging left forces Louis back. Well, something about Johnson saying what he saw in him was that Bence needed to work on his stamina, his combinations, and being a little bit looser in the ring as a fighter.
Well, Chris is a very decorated amateur, and he has a very good boxing skill, so he could actually teach Didier Bence a lot of things inside of the ring.
And that's a good sign for Didier Bence. The fact that Rocky Zomerchuk is letting them work out of those clinches, that means that Bence will have a little bit more leeway on the inside.
Not much to pick between these two fighters for Louis. This is just his 9th professional fight. For Didier Bence, just his 12th. That wild overhand right misses.
What Didier Bence needs to do is start using the jab more to get inside, because he is a smaller fighter. He needs to start using the jab, get inside, and work the body.
And if he's not going to do that, Luis just has to stay active and not let him just walk through the front door.
Well, Louis got the reach.
Oh, he's left himself open here. That swinging right missed, and Louis countered.
Louis' reach. He's got the reach. He's the more lengthier fighter. He should be on the outside. There's no way he should let Bence get inside.
Some of those winging shots from Bence are starting to get closer and closer to landing.
Oof. Just dancing out of the way was Didier Bence.
10 seconds, guys. Right from the belt. Keep it punching. Uppercut right now.
It's Didier Bence, Sylvera Louis for the Canadian Cruiserweight Championship.
Boxing is prestige, elegance, class, sophistication. Legacy to me is at 11 years old, sitting at ringside with my grandfather, watching my first title fight. Global legacy boxing is bringing professional boxing back to this wonderful country at the most prestigious level. Boxing is prestige, elegance, class, sophistication. Legacy to me is at 11 years old, sitting at ringside with my grandfather, watching my first title fight. Global legacy boxing is bringing professional boxing back to this wonderful country at the most prestigious level.
Sylvera Louis against Didier Bence. Here's a young man too that, at 32, he and his brother started their gym in Montreal. Now he says the gym is up and running, it's profitable, it's going well. Now he wants to concentrate on his fighting. I'm not sure at the age of 32 and now a 9th fight if this all comes too late for him.
You know what? It's not about the time. It's about him being focused and ready to fight and performing well, because every time you step into that ring, you've got to make sure that you're 100% ready to go.
And he admits, Corey, no more excuses. Can't use any distractions. It's all about the game now.
Well, no, and his gym, the Underdog Gym, has become a real hotbed, a real hub for great fighters in Quebec right now. Dirigeant, a recent world title challenger, trains there, comes out of there. Antonin Descaries, another former title challenger, he trains there as well. So he has top flight company in his gym at all times.
Round 3, slated for 8.
Get inside. Get forward.
Oh boy, combination lands in the face of Bence, but he's coming forward. Oh, that left gets right through.
Watch your hands, both sides.
Bence needs a jab, a double jab straight right to get inside. Louis just a little bit too smart to let him just walk in there. He's still fresh in the fight. So use your jab, get inside. It's not gonna be that easy a walk in the park.
And that sequence along the ropes a moment ago there, Troy, Bence just sort of led with his head and walked right in, just walked right into punches.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying, Corey, is that he needs to use something behind it. You cannot just walk with a top fighter and go in the ring and expect to just walk in there and throw punches. You have to move your head. You also have to throw punches behind it, so step inside.
Rocky Zolnarczyk is the referee in charge, and
Step up, step up, step up, step up.
you can hear the corner saying step up. It's a little wild at times, though, from Didier Bence, don't you think? A little wild?
It's a little wild, and these sequences for him, these big shots, they're becoming less and less frequent.
Now he's into the fight. He's got enough fights under his belt. Didier Bence has got enough fights underneath his belt. He's a decorated amateur. He should have that ring generalship together, and he should know how to use the ring.
And he backs up Louis. Bence, as Corey mentioned, now living in Toronto, part of Chris Johnson's gym. 4-1, 4 wins, 1 loss since he moved to Toronto. So the move has paid off for him.
It certainly has. Again, more attention in the gym, more attention to fitness.
Now we're warming up. But look where you're punching. We're warming up. Look at where you're punching. Touch somebody, come upstairs. Give me here, upstairs. All right? Move. I'm always saying move. Especially when you're attacking. And you're trying to get you.
Well, Corey, for one thing, these two guys are friends, so they know exactly how each other fights. It's always hard to fight a friend, especially when you know how they fight and you've done numbers of rounds with them inside of the gym.
Well, it happens in other sports too, Corey. And think about brothers who've played brothers in all kinds of team sports. I don't know, somehow I think this is just a little different.
Yeah, there's only one other sport that I can think of where you're allowed to punch people in the face.
Yeah. But they both said to me that once it's over and they step outside, they'll be friends again. But not now, not with the Canadian Cruiserweight Championship on the line. Round 4, slated for 8.
It's a big stepping stone for whoever wins this fight tonight.
Boy, Bence just wrestling Louis. And again, getting a little sloppy here. Just
as soon as you slip, make that move.
Is that because they're getting a little tired, that they start to clutch and grab a little bit, do you think, Troy?
You know what? It's different parts of the fight. You need to get close. Sometimes you need to switch the fight around where you're grabbing, holding. It's a different aspect of the fight. My coach always says to me, there's two parts of each fight. It's the first 6, and then it's the last 6. So you got to be ready for both aspects of each fight, of the fight.
And of course, as it goes longer here, this is where Bence said he tried to work on the stamina, just trying to go those extra rounds.
Well, I have to say, it's not aesthetically pleasing all the time, but Luis is doing the right thing when he gets on the inside. Why bother trying to work with a guy who is probably better on the inside than you? Just tie him up.
Exactly. Push him, rough him up a little bit, because that's what works. It throws him off his game. Louis doing a good job of just pushing him around. He's a lengthier fighter. He should be on the outside, but he's actually stepping to him.
And I've heard, those wild right doesn't land. And I've heard you can spend just as much energy in doing that kind of thing, just the wrestling, as you might by throwing punches.
Exactly. It throws him off. It throws him off his game. It makes him work a little bit harder, and it sucks his wind.
Both boxers now going to the body. That left snuck through from Bence.
We keep coming back to the weight issue with Didier Bence and whether or not he's comfortable now at this weight. Again, if you're Luis and you're on the inside and you're making him tread water doing all this work, suddenly his fitness could be called into question as the fight moves on.
With Louis, yes, definitely. With Louis, if he, after a while, adding the pressure and then all of a sudden starting to switch up and start moving and let Didier come after him, we'll see what kind of gas Didier has in his tank. If he's able to work with that.
That overhand right got through from Bence.
That's the one he's been looking for.
It's 8 rounds for the Canadian Cruiserweight Championship. Didier Bence suffering a little cut there on the right eye, but that overhand right, maybe the best punch he's thrown all night.
Yes, it caught Louis very, very right out there on the chin. Louis took the punch very well, but it was a very good punch from Bence.
Slow to get off the stool, too, for Didier Bence, as it's round 5. As Global Legacy Boxing presents the Canadian Boxing Championship. What are you looking for? What telltale sign is there that a fighter is really getting tired? What do you think?
You can see it on his face. You can actually see it on his face. You can see it in his body movements. His punches aren't as crisp as they started off in the first round, then the second round. But you cannot go in there and look at a fighter and think that all of a sudden he's tired, because he would automatically get back up from that and keep going.
Well, that was better work from Bence on the inside a moment ago. He got his hands on the outside of that clinch and was able to dig a couple body shots.
Well, right now it looks like Louis has the second.
Gets stepped on as Louis stepped away. Sorry, Troy.
I was just saying that it looks like Louis got his second win then, because he came out there, he's boxing, he's looking a little bit more crisp on his punches, but then all of a sudden I don't know what happened when in the fights now.
It looked like he may have gotten like right, and then
it was like a head clash.
Left getting through. One thing that's interesting about Louis, his hands are a lot lower right now.
And this is nothing new stylistically for Didier Bence. He's had to deal with movers like Louis at heavyweight in the past, guys like Jonte Willis, guys like Joey DeWaco, and he dealt with it.
Oof. Boy, left, right, over the top both times by Bence.
Working there.
Up the middle.
That work.
Up the middle. Stop.
Don't punch. Step back.
Rocky's Olrich giving them the chance to work out of it.
He's certainly been very liberal when it comes to these breaks.
Let him go. Let his arm go. Stop. Don't punch. That's right.
That lunging left, maybe just catching the cheek of Sylvera Louis.
Nice uppercut by Bence.
Bence, boy, right into the stomach, and there's the bell too. End of 5, still to come, the Canadian Heavyweight Championship. Eric Martel Bawilli against Dylan Carmen, and Dylan is with Candace.
Okay, Dylan, we're moments away from your big fight here. Talk about the pressure of a Canadian Heavyweight Championship that you're about to fight for.
No pressure. The way I see it is not too many men have stood where I'm about to stand before me. They haven't stood, nobody stood there. So yeah, I'm just really excited. Just trying to keep my mind focused on the fight and what I have to do in the fight. Just really excited for this opportunity.
And what are your keys for this fight? What can people expect to see from you?
Lots of jabs, big jab, lots of footwork, smart boxing.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
And he also thinks that 20-pound weight, extra weight that Eric Martel Bawilli is carrying, it's 250 to about 230. That might be an advantage later in the fight. The Canadian Heavyweight Championship still to come from the Mattamy Athletic Center. As we go to round 6, Didier Bence now making his home from Toronto out of Repentigny, Quebec, against Sylvera Louis.
Fast start from both guys. Bit of a frantic pace here in the early going. I thought Didier Bence outworked Sylvera Louis in the last round. He's looking to do the same thing here.
Louis is a smart fighter where he's holding on to Bence a lot. Whether it's working, sucking his energy or not, he's doing a good job by holding on to him. And when he's ready to fight, that's when he starts fighting.
Bence trying to cut off the ring now, and then starts to work to the body. Bence in the black and yellow, red and black for Sylvera Louis.
The one thing about Sylvera Louis is that he's basically deterring you with his movement, because he doesn't sit down on his punches too often. He's just kind of throwing them out there to get away.
Ooh. Through the block, that overhand right glancing off the face of Louis.
With Sylvera, although Louis is landing the big shots, it doesn't seem like it's affecting him too much.
Ooh, that one missed. Bence trying to capitalize off the break. Left, and then he just walked into a right from Louis.
I think Louis knows that the uglier this fight looks, the greater his chances of winning are.
Well, definitely, because he's a lengthier fighter. He's holding on to him because Bence can throw a punch. And you can see that when he did hit him, it didn't really have an effect, but Louis has to take that punch.
A good head movement from Bence there to get out of the way of those shots. But again, Troy, as you were saying, he could use maybe a double jab and do something offensively off of making Louis miss like that.
Yes, definitely he has to make that, double up the jab so he doesn't just try to walk into him and hit him with body shots. He has to be defensive and also use his offense and use his head and double up that jab, get inside, and that's when he start working that body.
Didier Bence just burying that right into the midsection of Louis as we're into the final 10 seconds. And that will end it. Round 6. Didier Bence, Sylvera Louis.
At the end of the round,
the Canadian Cruiserweight Championship. Global Legacy Boxing presents the Canadian Boxing Championship. Through 6, Didier Bence. And just off to his right, that's stepping out there is Chris Johnson, bronze medal winner from Barcelona. Round 7. What are your thoughts so far? Who has the advantage through this? This looks like it might go to the judges.
I definitely believe that it will go to the judges because right now with St. Louis, Louis boxing, he's boxing very well. He's trying to keep Bence out, but Bence has the bigger punches, and you can see that they're more effective.
Your advantage to Louis as well?
Well, I think that Bence has landed the more eye-catching shots, as Troy just said, but there are some judges who maybe will value the output of Bence when he gets on the inside, and it's going to come down to what the judges prefer.
Boy, those hands are really low and falling all the time by Sylvera Louis.
There are a lot of judges out there who will always favor the fighter who seems to be taking the fight to the other guy. And Bence is certainly the aggressor, and Luis is the guy trying to get away and disengage all the time.
Just before the bell sounded, Louis caught Bence with a really good straight right. That sort of put a signature on that last round for him to win that round.
Bence dropping his head as he goes to the body, and now into the ropes. Little warning there from Rocky Zolnarchik. Round 7 of 8.
Bence backing off a little bit, maybe putting Luis into a position he's not comfortable with, a position of leading. And that's not a bad strategy, making the counterpuncher lead, counter the counterpuncher.
That's right. But when there's a pause in the action and Louis is throwing punches, it makes him look like he's doing more work. He's having more work inside the ring.
The jabs from Louis stopping the advance of Didier Bence. And both fighters now, again, looking for that little bit extra here in round 7.
Louis caught Bence with an uppercut during that last exchange.
He just missed there. And it's becoming a bit of a sloppy brawl now as Bence throwing Louis down.
I think it could be a little bit of frustration at the same time on Bence's part.
The left gets through, and then Sylvera buries his head in Bence's chest. Seconds.
Keep it clean. Stop. Don't punch. Don't punch.
And there's the bell to end the 7th. So 1 to go as we stay with Sylvera Louis. What's he have to do?
What Sylvera Louis has to do right now is when he steps out into the last round is to use his boxing skills. There's only 1 more round to go, and he's got to outbox Bence and beat him to every punch in order for him to win this last round.
And for Didier Bence?
Didier Bence needs to work his jab, get inside, work the body, and keep Louis against the ropes. let his hands go. Work as much as possible inside the ring.
All right, watch Chris Johnson on the right there. What's he saying to him? What do you believe he's saying to him?
With Bence, he's saying you gotta use that jab. You gotta get inside. You gotta work that body, and then bring it up to the head.
Defense, hands up. Defense, let's go. Hands up.
Defense, hands up. For the Canadian Cruiserweight Championship, round 8, Didier Bence, Sylvera Louis.
Well, Bence predicted a knockout in this fight. So you know what his intentions are here in the 8th round. So it sounds simple, but one of the keys for Sylvera Louis is just to stay on his feet. Don't walk into something crazy.
This is the last round. Both fighters definitely have to dig deep, suck it up, and go for broke, pretty much.
Boy, combination.
It's a very close fight.
And battling back, Bence. And he catches him with that left. Bence. I don't know if either fighter, Corey, would like this one to go to the judges.
Well, again, it's such a tough fight to score because depending on the judging styles of whoever's sitting at the table here tonight, you could see this fight going either way. I would seem to think that Louis is a little bit ahead and that Bence does need something big in this last round, but I wouldn't be surprised if it scored the other way too.
Let his hands go.
Exactly what you said, Corey. It's a close fight. It all depends on what the judges like. Is whether they like the boxing style or they like the punching power of Bence.
I will say this, at the outset of the fight, if you said this one went the distance, Sylvera Louis would be very happy. He'd like his chances in that fight. If you said it ended by knockout, you would have probably thought it was Didier Bence getting the victory.
Oh, there's that overhand right. We saw one back in the first. Finally landing again from Bence. To the body as Chris Johnson urged him to do, and Louis comes back with his own body shots.
With two great punches like that, Bence could have probably put a signature on the round because of those two punches.
Into the final 50 seconds for the Canadian Cruiserweight Championship. Measuring him, jab out, right over the top from Louis. Right misses from Bence. 30 seconds.
In a lot of these rounds, there's only a handful of very clean punches being landed.
Right misses from Bence, right misses from Louis.
A lot of this grimy work on the inside might not register for the judges, but that certainly does.
10 seconds to go. And the two friends, the two national team members, now await a judge's decision for the Canadian Cruiserweight Championship. Didier Bence and Sylvera Louis. It'll go to the judges in a very close fight. Let's go back round one. The aggressor had to be Didier Bence.
Didier Bence definitely has the bigger shots, the heavier shots. He's a stronger fighter out of both of them.
The third round, that reach, that extra little bit of reach from Sylvera Louis.
Sylvera Louis fought very well. He used his reach for the ring generalship of the fight.
Now we know that the big punch of Bence is that overhand right, and he lands one bang right there.
He lands a really big right, but also Louis took it well.
And then here in 8, is that the fight? Is that the punch that may have won the fight for Didier Bence on some judges' cards?
Yes, to finish it off, it was a signature punch, and it was the best punch of the night.
Pierre Bernier has the judges' results.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 hard-fought rounds, we go to the scorecards. Judge Boudou has it 76-76, a draw. Judges Alan Davis and Harry Davis have it 75, 77, 79 to 73 for Judge Alan Davis for the winner. and new NCC Cruiserweight Champion, Sylvera Sly Louis.
Oh, look at the look on the face of Didier Bence. He certainly thinks that he won it. Sylvera Louis wins.
It was a tough fight to actually score, and St. Louis went out there. He boxed. He did what he had to do. He held him when he had to hold him, and he made it an ugly fight.
Sylvera Louis is the Canadian Cruiserweight champion. It's a remarkable story when you think about the fact that he got away from the boxing game for a while, managed to get into the gym business with his brother, and now he finds himself as a Canadian Cruiserweight champion, and he's standing by with Corey.
Here with the new Canadian Cruiserweight champion, Sylvera Louis. I mean, it was obviously a very tough fight, a very close fight. Did you think you were ahead on the scorecards heading into the 8th?
I knew it was close going into the 8th. I wanted to give it more, but he has experience. It was an awkward round. It was an awkward fight. It was tough. It was gritty. I'm really happy right now.
A tremendous boxing performance. Didier's always known for his power, especially in that overhand right. Did you ever feel that power throughout the fight?
Yeah, well, I was expecting it, and I wanted to belt so bad, it didn't matter.
Considering where you came from and everything you've gone through in your life, what is this moment like to finally be a champion of Canada?
It feels awesome. Honestly, I can't put it into words. I'm just happy right now. I'm grateful for the opportunity. And before the decision, Didier announced that he would offer me a rematch that he won, and I want to grant him the same opportunity. And honestly, I felt great.
All right. Well, we'd be looking forward to that one. Congratulations, the new Canadian Cruiserweight champion.
Thanks for having me.
Well, there's no decision. Who do you think won this fight? The reaction of a winner and a loser.